A reading from the writings of St Peter Julian Eymard. Jesus, meek and humble of heart, continued. We ought to have the negative humility of mind because we are sinners and ignorant. It is an obligation of justice. The fact that we are followers and servants of Jesus adds another reason why we should practice that kind of humility. In his commandment to be humble, however, Jesus spoke to us only of humility of the heart. It seemed to him, in his love for us, that to mention humility of the mind would humiliate us too much. It would recall too much wretchedness, too many sins, and too many reasons to be despised for. The love of Jesus threw a veil over this distressing aspect of the problem and invited us to be like him, humble of heart. But what is humility of the heart? It consists in receiving humiliations from God with a submissive love, as if there were something that is good or that glorifies him exceedingly. In accepting one's state of life and one's duties, whatever they are, and in not being ashamed of one's condition, in acting simply and naturally when favored with extraordinary graces from God. If I love Jesus, I ought to resemble him. If I love Jesus, I ought to love what he loves, what he does, what he prefers to all else. Humility. Humility of the heart is easier than humility of the mind, since it is merely concerned with a very high and noble ideal, namely, to resemble Jesus Christ, to love and glorify him in the sublime circumstances in which he practiced this type of humility. Spiritual communion, my Jesus, I believe that you are really present in the Blessed Sacrament. I love you above all things, and I long to receive you into my soul. Since I cannot now receive you sacramentally, come at least spiritually into my heart. I embrace you as one who has already come, and unite myself entirely to you. Never permit me to be separated from you. A reading from the Imitation of Mary. The love of Jesus continued. The believer speaks. Even if Jesus were not infinitely lovable in and for himself, he would have become so by having infinitely loved me. What sufferings he endured to show me his love. Mary, you must add, my child, to this immensity of his sufferings did not equal his desire for suffering. Love never says enough, but of all the love that exists, the most ardent and the most eager to make itself known is the love of Jesus. Jesus would have given even more than he did for your salvation, if he could have given something more of himself. My child, if there is outside of Jesus an object more worthy of love, he consents to your giving it. And if he deserves your love before and above everything else, will you dare to refuse him? Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. most holy.
Lord.